Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card tutorial. Today I am creating a clean and simple Christmas card. Even though it's in the month of July, we all are going to be getting ready for Christmas cards soon. This is going to be a bit of ink smushing or ink smooching. It's called by a couple of different names. I've started out with a piece of freezer paper with the shiny side up, and I put it onto a regular clipboard. You can tape it down to your work surface. There's many different things you can do to secure it down. I have a piece of watercolor paper, and I've dabbed Soft Sky ink pad, just a small amount, onto the shiny side of the freezer paper, spritzed it with water, with my Stampin' Spritzer to dilute the ink, and I'm picking it up on the flat side of the watercolor paper. There is usually a rough side and a smooth side, which is much more flat. Anytime I'm going to do any stamping on a watercolor panel, I make sure to use that smooth side. When doing watercolors, I work in layers. I go from the lightest shade up to the darkest shade because I can manipulate the colors in certain areas. This is Dapper Denim ink, and as you could see, I only used a very small amount before I sprayed it. It is quite a bit darker. It's a much more intense blue color. What I want to accomplish in this little small area of the paper is to get layers of ink that are both light and intensely dark without overwhelming my whole project. So now I've gone more intense with the blue, and sometimes to get the ink part in just a specific area, I will bend the cardstock as I did here and make it more of like a bow and drop it down in specific areas. I do not want to have ink color on the edges of my cardstock, although that might happen by accident. So now I'm using my finger to dab little drips of ink into specific areas that I want to have more intensity. To give some variance to the colors that I've created, I'm using the regular water in my Stampin' Spritzer, spraying it into my hand, and then moving the droplets down onto the colored portion. Then once put a paper towel on top, some of that color lifts up in degrees, and because I'm working in layers, it brings the top layer up and leaves some of that bottom layer with the lighter shade of blue right where it's supposed to be. This is a wonderful way to give a tremendous amount of depth to your project. I have some copper embossing powder that I'm using Versamark sticky ink with a Star of Light stamp set. I have a sentiment that's also from Star of Light that I'm stamping in black archival ink. As the focal point for this project, I have a star. It's one of the smaller stars that is from the Starlight Thinlits dies. This is going to sit right directly on top of the blue area and appear to be a star or maybe a snowflake. It looks like it could double for either one. Because the lines on this die are so very thin, and I do still want it to be raised up away from the card, I have chosen to use some of the really small dimensionals that are new in our catalog. But they still are too wide, so I used the scissors to cut them in half. So not only are they small, now they're teeny tiny small, but they still work very well. For the inside of the card, I am using the same blue colors that I used on the front, and I'm just using a different stamp that is from the same stamp set. I'll adhere this panel down to the inside of the card with some small dots of liquid glue. This card project is created as I am a guest designer during the month of July at Stamp Ink Paper Challenge. Thank you for joining me for another card making tutorial. I invite you over to my blog at jennystampsup.com for more card making inspiration. Be sure not to miss the exclusive content I share only with my customers. You can become a customer by clicking Shop Now at jennystampsup.com to make your Stampin' Up! Purchase. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video.
Hi, my name is Trip. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.